What's up, guys? Welcome to this Get Cracking JavaScript tutorial. It's a pleasure to have you here. What a great language to learn. I'm glad that you are starting this journey, and I want to help you with your learning. In this video, I will go over some basics that will set you in the right direction. This tutorial will show you basic and advanced concepts and tools you can find in JavaScript. But my goal is to show you things that will be used most of the time when you're coding with JavaScript. So we will learn basic things, and we will learn also advanced things, but they will all be very useful, and they will be used at least 85% of your time coding in JavaScript. And then I will point you to the right direction where you can go and read a bit more on that topic. After 10 plus years working with both front-end and back-end technologies, I believe I can help you on learning JavaScript. Please subscribe and hit the like button so that I can keep on producing more content to you all. Let's get cracking. What is JavaScript and why we need to use JavaScript? JavaScript is a text-based programming language used both on the client side and the server side that allows you to make web pages interactive. Where HTML and CSS are languages that give structure and style to your web pages, JavaScript gives web pages interactive elements that engage the user. Okay, so JavaScript is the only programming language native to the web browser, so it's a great option if you want to build apps that will be distributed over the internet. Therefore, by far, it's my favorite front-end language when I want to add dynamic behavior to our page. Nowadays, we also can add some dynamic behavior to the page using CSS, but JavaScript is by far the favorite option when it comes to adding dynamic code to your app. So what are we going to learn? We are going to learn a bunch of stuff. We are going to learn data types, functions, flow controls, arrow function expressions, comments, variables, operators, events. The list goes on and on and on and on. There's a lot of things related to JavaScript that you can learn. I will always point you to the online documentation because I find it very important to go read a bit more. But what I will show you across this tutorial, you will use 80% of the time. Okay, so let's get cracking. First, a piece of advice: do not learn JS before you learn React, Angular, Vue.js, or TypeScript. Okay, I've talked to people who went directly into one of those libraries or frameworks, and they regret doing so, because JavaScript is really the basic language, the fundamental knowledge that you have to know before starting to work with React, Angular, Vue.js, or TypeScript. Okay, so learn JS well before you move on, so that you can avoid stress. So let's get cracking. Please like, share, subscribe, activate your notification bell. Here we have, I pasted some initial code here so that we don't lose too much time. So as you know, or as you may know, a page or a app is composed mainly of these three main pieces of technologies: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Each one of them has its own main goal. So HTML you will use to put in place the structure of your pages, of your views, of your app, right? So right here we have the header where you can import things that you will be using in your page, and you have the body section where you will place the structural elements, that will compose your view. And then you have CSS to bring in some style to your view, and you have JavaScript, which main purpose is to bring in some interactivity to your views, right? So here I have div element. Before that, actually, I would like to mention that I'm using VS Code and the Chrome web browser for this presentation. So let me know in the comment section if you need help installing VS Code, but you can simply come here on Google and look for VS Code. You will find all the documentation necessary to download and install that amazing IDE. Also, I'm using an extension, a very useful extension called Live Server, that will help you serve your content, serve your files, right? It will make it easier for you to type your code and see the results over your Chrome web browser. So, okay. Coming here, I have placed a div in my page. That's a structural element. We don't see anything for now because I don't have anything inside this div. But if I type something here and save, whenever this is reloaded, it will display the content of your div, right? But for now, I'll keep it empty. I have here some CSS that will style that element. So we are linking the element through this class name, right? So by placing this property to my div, I will link my div to this declared class inside my CSS. But I need to tell the browser, I need to tell HTML which CSS I want to have applied to this structure, right? So let's go here in the header section, in the head section, and I will add a link tag. That will bring in my style sheet. So this is how you do it. within href property, you tell HTML which CSS file it should apply to your HTML code. So there you go. As soon as I save, this class is applied to this element, and now we can see the empty div in my browser. So this CSS real quick is basically defining a height for my element, width of 80 pixels for my element, border radius of 50%, which gives it this round shape, and a background color so that we can see the element in our canvas, in our page. Okay, so this is HTML. You define the structure. CSS will define how that element in your structure will look like, and then JavaScript will give it some interactivity. So right now, let me go through this code real quick. I will explain all these concepts, everything that you see here in greater details in the coming videos. But right now, I just want to go through this code quickly so that you know what we are doing. So here in the first line, I'm basically selecting a element in my DOM, which is decorated with the class MoveMe. We can also select elements using an ID, but in this case I have MoveMe class attached to my element, so that's how we're selecting it. And after selecting it, I will assign that element to this constant, and so that I can use it in the rest of my code. So here I'm using the object Windows. It's a global object that's always available for you, and I'm using that object to attach some code to a specific event that can be raised by the browser. Okay, so every time the browser throws this load event, I want to react to it. Okay, so I will reposition my element in a specific place in my canvas. I'm also reacting to the key up event. In this case, I am receiving in this function the event that I will be later using later to learn what key was pressed by the user, and then I'm using the switch case structure to execute a specific piece of code. Okay, we don't need to understand all of this for now. I will go through it in the coming sections, but for now I will save this file and I will bring it in this HTML. And the way we do it is by placing a tag script, and I will explain why I'm placing it at the end and not within the header. So text /JavaScript. Okay, this is the type of script I'm importing, and then I have to let the tag know where the file is. Okay, so JS dash my ID will help me to find the rest of the name. I close the tag, and my ID helps me to complete the code. Right? So when I save this, immediately you saw the ball moving a little bit here because of this first piece of code here that gets executed when the page is loaded. Okay, and then this piece of code will allow the user to interact with that element. The reason why I put this script on at the end here is because this element will not be present in your DOM if you bring it up here, right? So if you bring it up here, the script will be executed and this element is not present in your DOM. So you bring it down here so that the elements within your HTML will be already available once the script gets executed. So that's why the favorite place to put the script tag is at the end of your document. Okay, so now if I come here to my browser and I start touching the arrows, you can see that the ball is moving, right? So that's what JavaScript is for. It's meant to add some interactivity to your page, so the user can do something and your code can react to it, right? So if I keep on touching the left arrow, eventually the ball will disappear. If you type the right arrow, it will appear again. So quite useful for gaming. So that's it. This is the very basic structure of a web application, of a web page, right? You will always see HTML, CSS, JavaScript code. Let me show you here the Mdn Javascript Resource, which is an amazing resource for you to go read on JavaScript. Okay, I will let the link in the description below, so feel free to go there and start reading the documentation. In the next videos, I will go over each little detail that we see here, and you will at the end understand everything that you're seeing. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can keep on producing content that may help you in your journey. Until next time, happy coding. Bye.